This video is going to be a quick introduction to the channel. I'm just kidding. That sounds like a lot of work. I am going to show you how to install Ubuntu though. So first thing you got to do is go to your favorite internet browser, search up Ubuntu Server. Always make sure to go to ubuntu.com. Depending on if we're going to be using Hermes agent, you'll want to stick with the 24.04 branch of LTS. If you're not using Hermes agent, but if you're using Olama or more native AI things, 26 is fine. We will be using Hermes agent though, so we're going to stick with 24. Go ahead and download that. While this downloads, depending on if you're going to install in bare metal or virtual environment, for bare metal you'll have to use Rufus or Balena Etcher or some sort of a tool to burn, with air quotes, the ISO image to the USB flash drive. If you're doing a virtual environment like Hyper-V, ESXi, or insert your choice, you can just upload the image to the server or the data store, and then you can basically go ahead and run it, mount it to the actual VM, and go from there. Alright, so that's finished downloading. Went ahead and mounted it to my super favorite ESXi. Go ahead and try or install Ubuntu Server. Once that finishes booting up, choose your preferred language. For this, I'm just going to continue without updating for now, just because, save us some time. Confirm layout, confirm the type of Ubuntu server. There's minimized, which is kind of like a lockdown version of Ubuntu. Really, really minor footprint, but we don't really need all that. We don't need any special third-party drivers. We're going to stick to DHCP. If you wanted to do a static address, which I usually recommend for servers, go to edit IPv4 or IPv6, depending on your stuff. Go to manual, and then type out your information. Some stuff to note. When you put the actual server, see how it kind of yells at you? You got to put the actual /24 insider notation for the IP range. But I guess you should probably put a 0 there. There you go. Which is kind of confusing. Most people are used to putting the IP address in a subnet mask. Obviously, the address would be the one I tried typing up there now, and then the gateway. Oops, not the subnet mask. Now we're not going to do this though, because I'm going to do DHCP. Now, if you're using a proxy address, you want to put that here. We are not. It's going to do a quick mirror test to make sure it can actually access the files necessary for updates in the repositories and all that fun stuff. Once this spits out some text, you're usually good to proceed. Oh, maybe not. Let's try now. There we go. So for this, we're going to use the entire disk, set up the disk as an LVM, which is a Linux virtual. I don't know what that stands for. I lied. I forgot. One thing to note, sometimes you'll see that with the virtual volume here, it'll actually have not all the data being used. Can't edit that, guys. That one. So you can see that it's only using 10.972 gigabytes when really it could use 21.945 gigs. Everything else is good. We only have one disk in this virtual, so I'm going to continue. Basically, you're confirming this is a destructive action, as it says there. Basically, anything on this disk is going to be gone. So if you're not sure what you're doing, stop, go back, do some research, talk to your AI agent, call up a friend. I don't know. Be careful. People have lost data. It happens, and it sucks. Here we're going to put in our super cool information. The server name, we're going to call it, well, can't use capitals here. and no spaces or special characters. Autoplay slots Hermes. We're going to give ourselves a username and a super secret password. Oops. So Ubuntu Pro is kind of neat. Do your research. Honestly, for this, we're not going to waste it. I believe they still give you 10 free Pro instances for free, which is kind of cool. We're going to want to install OpenSSH because that's how we're going to be able to remote into the server with SSH later. So as far as snaps or packages, whatever they want to call them, we're not going to use any of these. We'll install our own version of Docker later. And it's going. Now once this is done, I don't know if I'll squeeze it into this video. Maybe I'll do the next video on how to install Hermes agent. It's super simple. There's a good bit of information out there. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. I have my own particular flow. I've built maybe 30 of these things for friends, families, coworkers, old colleagues. Really just kind of get out there. It's super cool. It's fun to play with, and it can do some really cool, exciting stuff. And if you just let it kind of do the work for you, or give it, I want to say free range, you got to be careful. AI can get pretty creative, and it can be very destructive too. It can sometimes do things that are maybe not in your best interest. But it's fun to play with. It's kind of cool to spar with it, talk to it, have it give you ideas, maybe give you recommendations on processes or paths forward in your lab, your professional life, and work life. It's kind of funny. AI is pretty cool. It's like a friend, but it's not. Obviously, it's not real. It's not a person, but it emulates it so well nowadays. It's pretty exciting. Definitely exciting for me, at least. But once this is done, we'll go through the process of installing all the prerequisites to run Hermes agent, and I'll show you some cool front ends that you can use that make it super fun to use or super easy to use. Give it a much more polished experience. I know a lot of people don't like the command line interface. There's actually this really cool thing. Basically, it's like a web UI for Hermes agent, and it's very awesome, very feature rich. They added a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. Feels like you're using like a third-party client for like a ChatGPT or Claude or something else out there, but obviously it's all locally hosted internally. As far as the AI backend, most people use Codex just because it's basically free in the sense that you don't have to pay for token or usage. You can actually basically run your standard Pro account, pay your $20 a month, connect it to your Codex engine on the back end, and you get usage, and that percentage of usage you can do things, and it doesn't cost you anything else, which is kind of nice. A lot of other services, they charge you obviously per token, and that cost can get pretty steep. Sometimes you can kick off something and your agent can go and spin its wheels for some time and use up a bunch of usage. And with Codex, it just runs out and it stops. But if you don't have your stuff properly set, you can burn through a lot of tokens. And guess what? Tokens cost money. And that could be a not so fun day. But some of the stuff I'd like to get into here in the future of the channel is really talk about local AI, running it at home, but not running it at home, because I see all these people talking about like, yeah, they got these 5090s or A6000 RTX cards that are just like way out of people's budgets. I mean, I got a 1080, little, GTX 1080. It's like, what business does that have running any type of AI? But there's a lot of cool things out there you could do, even with that old hardware. I am trying to source a 2080 RTX 2080 Ti. With the additional VRAM, this should be able to do even more than the 1080. 1080 is like kind of pushing it. It's really not meant to do anything AI. I mean, AI wasn't even really a thought back then, but there's a lot of cool things you can still do with it, and you can pick them up relatively cheap. And a lot of people just have them. Like, I have one here sitting on my computer because it's in my old gaming rig, and I'm going to use that because it's free. If I can source a 2080 Ti for a decent price, a couple $100, that'd be fun to play with. I mean, you're going from 8 gigs to 11 gigs, so it's not that much more VRAM, but the processing power goes up quite a bit. So, and obviously, if you could get your hands on like a 3090, that's kind of like the Goldilocks spot for home AI. You can pick them up for about $1,500, which is freaking crazy. But at that price, you can do a lot of cool local AI stuff. 22 gigs of 22 or 24. I think it's 24 gigs of VRAM. So you're loading up much larger models. And with the MOE, mixture of expert models, you can actually do CPU offload. So if you can't fit the whole thing in your GPU, you can offload a good portion of it over to the RAM or SSD, and it'll run a lot slower, but it can still process things, which is pretty neat. It's totally a game changer because you only have so many experts that are actually active at one given time. Or with the dense models, you have everything fires off at the same time. So like if it's not all 100% fit inside your RAM, your VRAM, you're basically halting production. It's not going to work. With the MOE, you can offload those experts off the GPU into the server RAM, or PC RAM. I say server, but this is like a little Dell XPS from like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I don't even know. When was the 1080 relevant? Either way, it's pretty exciting, and I think that's what really excites me about AI. Is these local models have become so powerful. You don't have to rely on a subscription or ChatGPT or Anthropic or all these big AI companies that are basically bleeding the RAM pool and making GPUs cost ridiculous prices, and SSDs and NAND flash is just ridiculously overpriced. But if you can find a little 1080 for like $100 or 2080 Ti for a couple $100, and that doesn't even get into the modded cards. There's actually cards out there that have been modded by Chinese vendors and even US vendors, where they take a standard 2080 Ti, repackage it, basically take off the die, move it over to a different card with a blower style cooler, and they double the RAM. So instead of having the 11 gigs, now you have 22 gigs of VRAM. And that's huge, tremendous uplift in your capabilities as far as loading AI. It doesn't do anything for your gaming or anything else like that, but when it comes to running AI, the more VRAM, the better. You can have a slow GPU, but if you have a good amount of VRAM, you can do a lot of good, fun, exciting stuff. But I guess I'll end my rant there. Once this is done, I'll pick back up. Maybe I'll start a second video showing how to install Hermes Agent, or maybe Ubuntu 26 is the same thing as 24 as far as installation goes. Not much to see there. I'm not sure how to get this information out to people because a lot of times I watch videos and there's so much text that you have to peruse or process, and it's like, man, I'm trying to type this stuff out as they're doing it. It's not always the case. It's not the business. It's not fun. It's much easier when you have like just a step-by-step guide. You can copy and paste commands, verify the commands, input them, run it, verify. It's just the workflow is so much easier. So if I could come up with something like that for people to follow, because that's typically what I find people want. They don't necessarily always want me to do it for them. They just kind of want some guidance. Like how did I do it? And that's what they want to see. Because for one, path's already been blazing. I've already ran into any issues. I've probably come up with plenty of solutions. And we're not all running around with 5090s or A6000s or really even like the V100s. Those things have shot up in price. I think a lot of people saw those cards in just a few years ago, and they were great, and they're still okay, but not for the prices they're going for now. I think when the prices were a little bit more reasonable, it was kind of fun, but now it's a little pushing it. But yeah, I guess I've talked a lot. Anyway, thanks.